creating happiness, I'm going to start off with talking about a couple of teachers that make me happy. Well, you've all grown up, see some younger faces, but when you leave school, there's only like a handful of teachers that you remember afterwards. The ones that I remember are those. It's he, Jan, Tom, and Linda. Teachers that made a huge impact on me. And why did they do so? They were storytellers. The ones that really did a story, and I hung on their lips basically. I would go in class and listen to them. I would listen to these people for hours. This guy, Guy, he would give class in a cafe in Brussels. Even on the class schedule, it didn't say a room number. It said the name of the cafe. So we would go to the cafe and listen to him talking about how you can do framing in cinema art. Really nice film. What makes us happy is Walt Disney, for example. Walt Disney would say, I'd rather entertain and hope that people have learned something than educate people and hope they were entertained. It's a very nice way of putting it. How can you make people learn something? By making it fun, by making it an experience or something like that. Walt Disney wasn't alone. He had Imagineers. This guy, Martin Sklar, his job is being an Imagineer. Can you imagine that? Having a job and come up with beautiful stuff. Imagination. He came up with the plan of Disneyland to have different teams, different regions. So all theme parks now do that. They have different areas in the theme park. He's written a book on the approach, all the things that he's learned from Walt Disney, all the things he's done. And the most beautiful thing in there is the 10 Mickey's Commandments. If you want to make not just a theme park, a beautiful university, a good school, you can learn a lot from Mickey's Commandments. So it's the 10 things you can't forget when you design a theme park, but also when you design a school. So it's competing for audiences. How do you get them in there? How do you entertain them? How do you get good customers or students? So I'm not going to talk about all 10 of them because it's going to be really short today, only 5. But I do all 10 of them in my classes. Number 1, know your audience. Well, don't bore people. Don't assume they know everything you know. Start from the basics. I teach Photoshop in the first year, and I give them very creative assignments. This is one of my assignments. They have to come up with new animals. So they can go on Google, take 3 animals, and they have to combine it to a new animal, and come up with a crazy new name. So that's creativity. They love this. But in the meanwhile, they're learning how to select stuff, how to retouch stuff, and to make an animal. This is the Swedish stinging hound, so he will sting you as well. This is the tweeting giraffe. Yeah. Crazy animals. This is, he cheated, that's human. This is the Colgate shellphant, shark elephant, yeah, Colgate shellphant. So, very nice stuff. Number 2, communicate with visual literacy. We have to do that as teachers. So make good use of all non-verbal stuff, such as color, shape, form, and texture. And I try to do that in my classes. When I came in at first, when I started teaching, I found my classroom so boring. I had to teach creativity. It was just a classroom. We might have had different classes in there, accounting, languages, anything. It was not creative at all. So I jumped in with some of my colleagues and we repainted the room. We put some space invaders on the wall, a wall of fame with all the big guys, Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs, they're all on the wall of fame. Yeah. Artwork from students, so they see each other's work, so we made it more beautiful. We try to communicate with visual literacy. So we stopped using Blackboard, the official communication system in our school. We use Slack now. And on Slack you can communicate differently with students. So this is a student doing something really dumb, and the teacher, he's giving feedback in this way, while the student knows exactly what the teacher thinks of him. Yeah? It's a nice way of putting it. And students get it. After a couple of weeks, they're like, like, wow, this is a new language between me and the teacher. And they start doing it themselves. So this is a student who's done something really dumb. He's like, oh, I could have done that. So just speaking with kids is very nice. This is our dress code. If students come in for an oral exam, they have to wear a suit. We're very strict on that. So we want them to dress neatly when they come to an exam. On the other hand, teachers can wear whatever they want. And they can have as many tattoos as they want. So we're very strict with that as well. Number 3, Walt Disney was fantastic at creating weenies. And weenies is just a simple thing. You create visual magnets and give visitors rewards from time to time. If you look at Disneyland, you have a weenie. Everybody that goes to Disneyland has to go to the center, to the castle, because they all want to see Snow White. Snow White is the main attraction for a lot of children, especially for girls, so they put it in the middle. And every theme park has its own weenie that you want to see. So you discover all the parts of the Disneyland park. If you go to Tivoli in Copenhagen, same thing. If you've ever been to Denmark, you know that in the middle, at several points in time, especially in the evening, you have a light show. It's for free. You can go there and see the light show. That's the weenie. If you go to the Efteling in Holland, that's where I go with my kids, they have a donkey in the middle. It's there. And the donkey is quite special. It's a story. I don't know if they know it in German. It's a donkey that can shit golden coins. It's a donkey that made someone rich. Okay, you know it. So kids go in, you put in €1, and out comes a plastic golden coin, which has the logo of the Efteling. That's amazing, because all the kids want to have that golden coin. They all go there to get the coin. They go to class and they show like, I have a coin from the Efteling. And other kids want to go because they want the coin. So marketing-wise, it's really good. It's free publicity. So they put it in the middle. What do? Well, in my class, when my students have to pitch their work, I start giving them grades or feedbacks in terms of grades. We come in, and who knows Dragon Den? Okay, Dragon Den is a format on BBC. It's just top investors. They come in, people can pitch the idea, and they have a stack of cash. And if they like the idea, they will put thousands of pounds for the idea. And they battle between each other to be the godfather or the investor of the idea. So we do the same thing in class. We come in with fake money, and we have our students to pitch their projects. If we believe in the project, then we give them many hundreds of euros. If not, if we think the idea really sucks, we only give them 20 euros, which basically says to a student, you get 20 euros, go have a drink, and come up with a better plan. Do a brainstorm somewhere. And apparently it works a lot better for students if you put money on the table. They get the picture. It's fake money, so it's okay. They started noting it themselves, so they have a Google document and they keep the score, which is funny. Dead drops, yes, also a weenie. We have dead drops. It's a USB connection. It can be anywhere, and it contains some material, some goodies, some free stuff. If you've never done dead drops, it's just a USB flash stick or a flash drive that's with cement in some place, and you might find people connecting their laptop to a wall or to something else. They're actually getting files and transferring files, putting presents on it and taking presents from it. So there's many dead drops in the world throughout every continent. If you want to find them, there's even an app for that on Dead Drop. You can find them on a Google map, or you can find them in layer technology and look for them. They're even in forests, in trees and stuff. It's really wicked. What do you think happened? I have my own dead drop in my school. So I put free ebooks on there to make my students come in and download some books. Or I would also put my assignments on there, so I have my students to come in physically to collect their assignment, their class assignment. So you cannot just download it and stay in your bed all morning. You have to come to the wall and get it. And I have good fun making it. try to tell one story at a time. Disney is very good at that, and I try to do the same thing. So we have a lot to say as teachers. We want to put as much knowledge as we can into the heads of our students, but divide it into really distinct stories, logical stories, so they can divide it and build it up to something that makes sense. And I'm just going to give you one example of how I teach typography. It's just one of the things that I teach. So they would come in, I have an aula full of students, and I would teach all the principles of typography. Fonts, ascenders, descenders, X height, all these things. Once they've figured this out, once they've had this class, we will go outside, we leave school, and we go for a typographic walk. We go in the city, and we explore type on the street. You see a lot of good stuff. You also see a lot of bad stuff. You see a lot of interesting stuff in terms of people being creative with type on the street. So we just walk around, we look at what works, what doesn't work. We look at brands. I explain brands as we walk the street. I explain the brands of banks, I explain the brands of certain shops, and it just opens up their eyes. Afterwards, we see a movie, Helvetica movie. Who's seen that? Yes, very good. This is a long movie. It's a documentary about the font. Who would ever watch a movie about a font? Well, we do. It's very interesting. After the movie, they get to make an assignment, and this assignment is, okay, you've seen everything about fonts. Now you're going to make a word that expresses something, but you're not allowed to use one single font. They have to make it themselves. So you have Joachim, who takes old videotapes, and he just puts it on the floor. He works on this for 3 hours to make Video Killed the Radio Star, which is really nice if you look at it. Or somebody who makes Save the Forest, or Wirwat, which means chaos, or tangled up in Flemish. Frozen. I really like that. This is Bram. He went to the butcher and just asked for leftover meat. It's scary, but they do it. This means patience in Flemish. Lots of patience there. Yeah. Identity with fingerprints and a schablon. Very well done. A guy who makes this with his girlfriend. They had to chew a lot of chewing gum in order to make that. Yeah. That's romance. That's what you do for your boyfriend. So, last one. For every ounce of treatment, please provide a lot or a ton of fun. Make it real fun so you give reasons for your student to come in and to attend class. Give plenty of opportunities to just enjoy themselves. Make it fun. Go outside. Have a playful environment. Make it stimulating. And the way I do that is, I used to work at this agency these days. It's the biggest web agency in Antwerp. This is development, and they do crazy things. If they had to make a website for Smurfs the movie, they would come to work like this. So they're really into the client. I used to work there, and now with this agreement, I can go there 1 day a week, and I go into the office, and I have my class in one of their creative aulas. It looks different than my class. And the most important thing is my door is open, so staff personnel from these days can come in and attend my class. But also the other way around. If they want to teach my students something that they've just learned yesterday about jQuery or JavaScript, they can go ahead and teach my students. And here you see a young developer teaching my students just out of free will. So it's two-way traffic. Why do we go there? Because students get to breathe the air of web design, and they also get to see a real agency. What we do there is a hackathon. It's a 24-hour of coding and programming weird stuff. So we go in there, you're not allowed to sleep, you have to make stuff. We provide them with some food, some drinks, and they make stuff. So yeah, lots of pizza, lots of fries, and they come up with stuff. So they have to work 24 hours, and they make stuff. So this is Jonas, he's making a robot. This is William, he's making interactive pizza boxes, like the cards you open for your birthday. And he's got a talking minion as well. And you're not allowed to sleep, so you stay up for 24 hours. Teachers do this as well. And if you fall asleep, you're a loser. They will just draw on your face, so don't fall asleep. And in the morning, they present their stuff, and we have these silly awards that we hand out for the best groups. They all get an award for different reasons. So everybody has a prize, everybody has a meaning. Stuff that they made this horse talk, so you can tweet to Gary the horse, and the horse will read your tweet. So yeah, the sound is off. I should put up the sound. They made Loop Chaser. This is an interface to make kids to do their homework. You have questions, and if you answer the question right, your little car on the car track will do one round, and it stimulates kids to do their homework. So if you answer the correct question, it will do one round. That's beautiful. They made a tattoo shop because certain people don't want to be drawn on when they fall asleep. And the tattoo shop was basically a 3D printer with a marker. You can put your arm there or your neck, and it draws on your skin. So it's very nice. 1 minute, fantastic, I'm there. So it brings me back to my heroes, these guys. What makes them all very special is that they were all curious. They didn't want to settle for the single very first best thing. They always strived for better. They were not the most easy people, but they wanted to make something, a mix, a blend between art and science, and that's where Steve Jobs came from, that's where Walt Disney came from, also Leonardo da Vinci. So these people have the same minds. We can all do that. And fundamentally, I teach because it makes me feel good. And that's something Milton Glaser said. He's a graphic designer, he passed away 2 years ago, but he said, there's nothing more exciting than seeing someone's life affected by a positive way. It's something you've said, and that's what it is. I hope to do something meaningful and pass it on to my students. You were an awesome audience, and I got it, I nailed it in time. Thanks a lot. I'm entitled to 3 more minutes, and I timed this. This is the after movie of the hackathon. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Then I should show it, of course. Here we go. Yay. I can. We give them food. Okay, just to give you an impression of what it is. Question?
Yes. Really exciting stuff, and if we have from a more student perspective, if they have one teacher like you with all this creative stuff, it's really exciting. Maybe 2 or 3 teachers, but could they deal with 20 teachers?
Could they deal with 20 teachers like me? That's a good question. Well, we have a very diverse team, so we have, not every teacher is into this kind of domain, and not every teacher is into storytelling or creating experience this way. But I have the good luck to have some teachers around me, the one that teaches them development, for example, that he's got the same mindset. It's really hard, for example, it's dry matter to teach somebody all the syntaxes of coding. It's not really easy. So he's come up with his own ways of challenging them and it's exciting to teach them development. And it started off, for example, they have a Spotify channel with coding music. What turns you on as a coder? What makes you code throughout the whole night? Which kind of music? He opens it up. The students can fill it up with music. If you put something silly on there, the whole class will know. If you put something good on there, the whole class is like, wow, I want to have that as well. So it's in the little details, but I never expected to find a colleague that was on the same wavelength as me, as I'm supposed to be more creative and he's more an analytical guy. It's just a small example. The small example with the panda bear, that was Sam chatting with my development colleague, chatting with students. So we're on the same level, on the same page that way. Yeah. But of course we have aulas where we do theory classes. And my students know this distinction between Ben who's preaching theory and Ben who's doing a fun hackathon with them. And it's nice to have these two sides, I guess.
Okay, one short question.
Could you please move to Germany?
We spoke about this yesterday. Well, it's not that easy. I have 3 kids and a wife, so it makes it more complex. We could move Germany to Belgium or something. No, let's try to collaborate. I'm here every international week every year, and I've come over as well last year to come and do some workshops. So we're starting small and we'll see where it ends up. But I invite all of you, being staff or students, if you want to go on an exchange, student exchange, teacher exchange, you're more than welcome. You can ask your questions to Martina's office, and they have my credentials, so they can take care of the paperwork. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay,
Time's over.
thank you, and we have a little present for you.
Wow.
Thank you for a nice presentation.
Okay, thanks a lot.